3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GrokTALK.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GrokTALK.com. GrokTALk. Just playing around. Welcome back to GrokTALK. I am Steve McDonald here with Skip Murphy, Mike Rogers, Richard Olson. Max Ledoux has joined us. Thanks again to Corey Lewandowski from Trump 2016, Kimberly Morin, and Ralph Banco, all who joined us today, and of course Susan Olson, who called us live from the Concord Gun Show this morning. So, great lineup, and if you missed it, you can check it out again tomorrow Monday at 1 o'clock on the Rock, NHCR.com, or you can go to GraniteRock.com or Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio, and of course Ustream and YouTube, which Skip always likes to add, but I said it, so now he can't. Anyway, we would like to bring our next guest in, Max Ledoux. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
So I'm not real clear, but I know we're talking about Maggie Hassan and maybe Planned Parenthood and maybe some of that stuff. So why don't you fill us in on...
And I work for Ricochet.com, which is a conservative website, and I'm a staff member there. And since I live here in New Hampshire, and since the governor has publicly defended Planned Parenthood, she's taken money from them, which I'm not opposed to people taking money for campaigns, but she has. It's a fact. And she has refused to allow an investigation into them, even while the Executive Council has rescinded the money that was going to Planned Parenthood. And she has dismissed these videos that we've all seen, many of us have seen, from the Center for Medical Progress. So I wanted to know the simple question: has she seen those videos since she's dismissing them and since she supports Planned Parenthood? So I assumed that she had not, but I called her office, and Kyle Middleton, the receptionist, would not put me through to anybody who would answer my question, and he would not answer my question, which he's a receptionist, so he's probably just not authorized to, but he wouldn't. So I emailed her communications director, William Hinkle, and to be fair to him, he was on vacation that day. So I got an out-of-office reply from him saying, for an immediate reply, contact Amber Mello. So I forwarded the same email to her immediately, no answer. Next day, emailed them again, no answer. Then the third day, this all started on August 19th, third day, emailed them. That day I did get an answer from Benjamin Belanger, who is the Assistant Director of Citizen Services, and he sent me a form letter, which he said to me in an email. He said, "This letter represents the answer to your question." Well, I'll be the judge of that. And it did not answer my question. It praised Planned Parenthood. Again, the question is, has the governor seen the Planned Parenthood abortion videos put out by Center for Medical Progress? Yes or no? Either she has or she has not. The letter praised Planned Parenthood for providing healthcare services indiscriminately to men, women, and children. So I wrote back to him and I said, this does not answer my question. I want an answer to my question. Well, he sent me back the same letter, only this time scanned as a PDF with his signature on it. Thank you very much, Mr. Belanger. I will put that on eBay in 20 years. Okay? So ever since then, every single business day I've been emailing William Hinkle, Amber Mello, Marianne White, who's the Director of Citizen Services, Benjamin Belanger, and a slew of other emails. I give them the weekends off. I only email them on business days. I have got no answer from anyone for over 2 weeks.
Well, I'm glad to see that we're not the only ones not getting any information, because I don't pester them, I don't call very often, but they know who we are, and I get about as bupkis as you have. So the question I have, as a reporter for Ricochet.com, have you sent in an RTK, a right to know, RSA 91A, otherwise known as a FOIA request everywhere else in the nation, because then they have to start responding to you formally, and there's time limits. They have only so long to find that responsive information.
No, I have not, and I'm very happy to find out about that, and I will start doing that.
Oh, yes.
So I first contacted them as a constituent. I am a resident of Tuftonboro, and I felt, starting off, that I deserved an answer as somebody who lived in the state. And apparently it is the policy of the governor's office to stonewall the citizens who have questions that they don't like. And then the next phase, after trying to contact them as a constituent, was to inform them that I was a member of whatever you would call it, the blogosphere, the press, and that did not get them to give me any information. I've written about it on Ricochet.com, and if you search on Google for Ricochet Maggie Hassan, my post will come up. Next phase was starting to write to all the newspapers. So this week I sent a letter to about a dozen New Hampshire newspapers, and so far the letter has been printed in the Laconia Citizen and in Foster's Daily Democrat, and I thank those two publications for publishing my letter, and hopefully some of the other ones will. I think the Granite State News is going to publish it once a week.
Send it to us. We have a very good readership of both the left and the right. The right because we're aligned with them, the left because we get tracked.
Good.
So send that to us. Send us your right to know when you finally put that together. Let's make this an ongoing series. And we always say it's time for the big flashlights.
Yes.
So if someday that you want to go in, say the week of October 22nd, when I have the week off, we can bring said cameras with us.
Excellent.
And yeah, we'll give you early warning. We're fair about things here at GrokTALK.com, and let's see what happens.
And talking about being fair, I want to bring up that Hassan is supposedly going to be running for Senate next year, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe. So I thought, well, has Kelly Ayotte seen the videos? So I emailed her communications director, Liz Johnson, and 5 minutes later, she replied and said, yes, Ayotte has seen some of the videos, not all of them, and she's read about it. And so it's simply not a difficult question. And it can be answered easily, quickly, and with a definitive yes or no.
You know what would be an interesting thing? Ayotte's office is not always that responsive, but so I'm very glad that they answered you. Try dropping a line to Annie McCluster, McLean Custer, and see if her office answers, because they're normally very responsive to email questions, except this one might put them on the spot and they might stonewall you. So it'd be an interesting test.
Well, I'll try that out, and then I'll let you guys know.
And
And Gene
sure you
Sheen.
follow up with the Benghazi question.
No, it is rather interesting because here in... Oops.
And where's Libya?
Yeah, where is
Libya?
Oh, she met Benghazi? How old is
She
he?
met Ben? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here, as you know...
Benghazi lives with Warren women. Warren women.
Yes.
Warren women. I can. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. But here, we've got the executive council that has voted not to renew the contract, so we've got that added thing. So we're just waiting for Jean Shaheen to, do what she did the last time around and countermand a valid vote. A valid vote of the state to say no, we don't want to do this. And over, as Steve said, she's the federal government ambassador to the state of New Hampshire. And so we would love to see what her office would say to you.
Well, I'll reach out to her, and I'll let you guys know. I assume that all these people have not seen the videos, these Democrats, because I don't know if you saw recently the Susan B. Anthony list. Yeah.
That's great.
They invited 2,000 staffers.
Democrat staff.
Democrat congressional staffers to come see the videos, and 9 showed up. And half of those walked out.
And only 2 stayed to watch them, and they were horrified.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that many people who consider themselves pro-choice have simply not put a lot of thought into it.
I would agree with that.
That's what I think.
I know, because when I was pro-choice, I hadn't put a lot of thought into it.
Well, same with me. When I was in college, I'm I thought I was a Democrat at the time. I like to think now that I was always conservative and just didn't realize it, but who knows. But I was a Democrat in college and pro-choice. But once you spend any amount of time thinking about it, and the one thing that really tipped me on this issue was in the summer of 2008, I heard radio, I think it was Laura Ingraham, and she was interviewing a nurse who had, in Illinois, who had testified in front of the state senate about having witnessed a baby that was born alive during an abortion and watching it die. And this woman had testified in front of Barack Obama, and Barack Obama, as we know, voted countless times present in the Illinois State Senate because he didn't want to take a position on an issue. One issue that he did take a position on was partial birth abortion. He voted against the ban, the state ban, which was a bill that merely reproduced the federal ban. And he was, I believe, the only senator who voted against it. So it was very important for him to take a position on that.
That's true, and I think we've written about that or talked about it any number of times. But the fact that he made the effort to go public on that is very important.
On so many other issues, he voted present, and
right.
This one, and it wasn't. I mean, I do believe he was the only one who voted against it, and there were 3 different votes on it. And maybe one of the ones was the time he was the only person, but he voted 3 times against it. So it was very important to him.
All right, we're going to take a really short break. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back with Max. Hang on. Let me find the right button to push.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now, at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
GrokTALK comes to you live almost every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. You can also listen live at Spreaker.com. If you missed a live show, catch up with the podcast at GraniteGrok.com, Spreaker.com, on Stitcher Radio, at iTunes, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio, and now on The Rock, New Hampshire's Christian radio station, TheRockNHCR.com. GrokTALK is a mobile-ready broadcast, so you can listen anywhere, anytime on your PC, laptop, tablet, or smartphone.
GrokTALK.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
We are GrokTALK. That was a little loud. Brought to you by the bloggers GraniteGrok.com and the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. Check them out at cnht.org. We are GraniteGrok.com. How much easier could that be? Thanks again to Susan Olson, Ralph Benko, Corey Lewandowski, and of course we're here with Max Ledoux, talking about Planned Parenthood and Maggie Hassan, and I'm still pressing microphone buttons, blah, 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 blah. Check us out on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, YouTube, Ustream, NHCR, The Rock, NHCR.com. And of course you can check out podcast redos or rewinds throughout the week. We take sections of our show and set them up all by themselves so you can check out what you're missing in a little shorter piece. You might not want to listen to 2 hours.
Crock shots.
No, man, 15 minutes sometimes. We do grok shots too, which are usually a minute or less, minute and a half. Could tease you a little bit. Come and listen to the show.
Read us at GraniteGrok.com.
Please do. All right. So,
And because of our guest with Max, Ricochet.com.
Yes, Ricochet, if I could just plug it a little
Sure.
bit, it's a
Plug
conservative
away.
website. It's national. We have an small international membership as well. It is a membership site. You pay to be a member. As a result, it's very cheap. It's $5 a month. And as a result, we cut out all the people who just kind of drop by to say mean awful, nasty things.
See, we love it when they do that. Our eyes light up and our fangs come out.
Well, there is a certain amount of pleasure from getting, any type of response.
Yeah, we call it engagement.
I wrote a letter to the Granite State News a few months ago. They had written an editorial in response to the Texas attack on the cartoon.
Yes.
And Pam Geller, yes.
Pam Geller, yeah, and the Granite State News, which is out of Wolfboro, they basically I read it as being against the First Amendment, and I wrote a letter sort of excoriating them, and they wrote an editorial response to me, in which they said that my thinking was part of the problem.
See,
really?
That's what it is. It's your thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we're going to have to go look that
We'll
up.
have to re-educate you and set your mind straight.
Yes, because
Yeah.
free speech isn't about free speech. It's
Yeah.
about what you think free speech is.
Right, and they
That's
said there
what
was a
it is.
difference between hostile speech and free speech. And I said, no, there's not.
No, there
Free
isn't.
speech is worth what you pay for it, and theirs isn't very much.
But it was gratifying to have an editorial response.
Oh, sure. It's like when the New Hampshire Democrat Party writes a press release about you.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Well, what's the irony there is you call up a Democratic office like I remember when Carol Shea Porter was in office. I called up and I said, "Yeah, this is Rick from Granite Grok." And who? From where? I said, "Granite Grok." She says, "Granite what? I've never heard of it. What is Granite Grok?" I said, "Come on, you know who we are." I mean,
That's
they play
like-
these games.
Yeah, see, for us, we're a little bit different. Where you're a writer for a more dignified writer.
Well,
We
I
are-
don't know if I go that far, but
Well, for a more dignified site, we make no bones about it. We are conservative
Yeah.
with libertarian leanings. We're also all political activists. We
Yeah.
just don't blog here. And we stand up for what we believe, and we will go after people who
Yeah.
violate that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Zelensky's rules. Get your people to do what they think is fun.
Yeah.
It works for us just as well as them.
yeah, and I don't want to pretend to be any impartial. I'm conservative, I'm pro-life, and my intent from the beginning was to write a post about how Hassan had not watched the videos, but it turned into a post about how she wouldn't even respond to my questions.
And that's even better because I've always said it's always about the arena of ideas, and if you can't say anything, if you can't articulate your message, especially when the other side wants to engage you, you should be losing. Now, in this hyper-partisan world that we now find ourselves, a lot of that doesn't seem to matter, unfortunately.
I'm wondering why she can't just say no. No, I didn't
Well, that's
say
what
it.
I don't understand. I mean,
She's obviously partisan. We know since she was in the Senate, Emily's List publishes this heroes list, and she's on it. And in order to be on that list, you have to be a conception to live birth abortion supporter. There's no other way to get on that list. And she's on it. She's been on it since she was a state senator in however long they've had the list. So why can't you just say,
even her
no,
minions aren't allowed to answer.
no, I have no interest in this discussion. You know where my position is. That's the end of the story. Why can't she say that?
and Emily's List has given her $60,000 over
Wow.
the years, by the way. $50,000 last for 2014.
Well, Governor, you need more money.
Well,
Yeah.
Steve, remind me, didn't she try to become part of the No Labels
Oh, yes.
group at some
yes.
point?
She was at
so
the,
this is why we won't get the answer.
at the
This is the delusion of the left. They
at
think
the
that they're
spineless no testicle announcement in New York City when they began No Labels. She was there sowing the seeds for her run for governor because as a state senator, everybody knew who she was, and she wanted to try to run to the middle. Not that she needed to necessarily, and she was at the No Labels founding at the very beginning when the sun rose. on moderate squishes moving the Overton window further to the left. So that's pretty much what it was.
Thinking of moderate squishes, have you noticed when you go to some websites, Lawrence Lessig for 2016 started
Yeah, it's
popping
just
up?
popping up everywhere, yeah.
Good grief.
Our buddy
Thinking of
Larry.
no labels, no spine, and government intervention.
They're coming up on our videos now.
I get
on YouTube.
I get Bernie Sanders on Ricochet, which is pretty funny. I always click on it.
I would rather, I would like to have Bernie Sanders in here.
We would all love to have Bernie Sanders in here, and we'd actually be respectful, because you know what? He is that rare old bird. He is an honest socialist, and that's what scares his party.
Yep.
Right. Well, and it's the same. With Donald Trump. Like, if let's say I was able to ask him, "Have you seen those videos?" He would tell me yes, no, one or two. He wouldn't.
No, when you came in, we were talking to Corey Lewandowski, who's a good friend of Granite Rock. We've known him for years, and is now the national campaign director for the Donald. And I see a lot of similarities between what Donald is doing and what Corey says. Corey may dress it up a little bit, but he's flat out. He will always give you an answer, and you will always know where you stand with Corey. And certainly we see that with the Donald, which that's what people want. The establishment Republicans are all into Twitter. They all hate the idea that Trump's thrown their whole plans up into the air. And I just look at it and I laugh like a hyena, because it's the same thing, slightly different than what I've been saying about Granite Rock for years. If the Republicans would do what they say they believe in, 3/4 of the stuff that we write about would disappear in a heartbeat.
He doesn't need their money, so they can't manipulate him.
Right.
Exactly. And lo and behold, the Donald comes out and says, "and pledge allegiance to the conservative principles for which it stands." The freaking Republicans won't do that.
Nope.
No, but then there's Maggie Hassan.
A rare few.
Yeah. Maggie the Red Hassan. And we started calling her that when she tried to nationalize here in New Hampshire all of the hospitals. She wanted, sort of like the Consumer Financial Protection Board under the Fed, she wanted it a similar board, unelected, unaccountable, appointed by politicians, to watch over all the pricing of the New Hampshire hospitals, and then also be able to set their own taxes on those hospitals, so the hospitals would be paying for the privilege of being regulated by this board. And she thought that was a dandy idea. Let's, instead of no labels, be honest of who you are, and let's go from there. But coming back to why you're here, the no answer Hassan.
And by the way, I went to a Carly Fiorina event.
She's very good.
She's great. I've actually been to two, but the second one I went to, I said, "Have you seen the videos?" Yes. She said yes. Yeah. She said, "I've seen every single one." That was a couple of weeks ago. 2 more have come out since then. She said, "Yeah, I saw all of them, and they're very hard to watch."
They are very.
And I said, "I've been trying to get Governor Hassan, to say whether she's seen them," and Carly kind of snorted and said, "Well, of course she hasn't seen them." And by the way, if I can just plug Ricochet one more time,
sure.
Carly Fiorina will be interviewed on one of our podcasts on Monday by Jade Nordlinger, who does a joint podcast with National Review and Ricochet. Yep. And people can listen to that live on Ricochet.com on Monday if they're members. So go to Ricochet.com/join to get the first 30 days free. But as I said, it's only $5 a month.
Yeah, and I'll say that we have also filmed her, videotaped her a couple of times. She also came on the show by phone with us. We spent a good half hour.
Tried to get her on the show today because she's in the States someplace.
Yeah. And you can go back in our archives and listen to it for free.
Right.
Because we're all volunteers here. We don't make our livings doing this.
And what we see is
we're not opposed to it.
No.
I just want to get that out there. We're not opposed to making a living doing
it.
this.
Her campaign stump speech is evolving, not her principles. She's getting better at it. She's weaving in more local interest.
She's really good on her feet. I've seen her twice, as I said. And while there was, the second time, there were things that she said that she had said before, it was different, and it was in different places, and so
it wasn't like a recording like some candidates do their stump speeches, where they tell all the same jokes in the same sequence.
Yeah, I think you can call it a command performance. Not that it's a performance. A command presence.
Commanding presence.
Commanding
She's very
presence.
present in the moment.
But she's also got in a very soft business line but firm manner. She has that charisma that does bring you in. She's very good to listen to, and she does it all without a teleprompter.
Yeah, and
She doesn't even have the note cards that, say, a Ronald Reagan or some of the others had to remember the little details. She actually memorizes the anecdotes she's going to use.
Yeah, I saw her in Barrington in July, and she spoke for almost an hour, just with a microphone, and she was great.
She can do it. Rand Paul can do it. Ted Cruz can do it. Donald Trump can do it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people in this race that really can just stand up there and talk and answer questions on the fly. They're not.
I saw Carson as well, and he spoke not quite as long, but and he may have had a few notes, but for the most part, he was just talking.
I can talk and talk, but I need notes to keep me on track.
Topics.
Because I'll just wander off into the weeds.
Same here. I have to have bullet points in front of me to make sure I cover what I
wait, I
intend to cover.
I gotta go to this.
Yeah. We are the ADD bloggers of GrokTALK.com.
Hence the squirrels you're looking
Ah,
at.
squirrel!
Yes.
Yes, we have squirrels. So we have about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Yep. So if people want to get a hold of you, obviously the obligatory question, how would they get a hold of you, and where else do you blog other than at Ricochet?
I'm only at Ricochet. I do mostly technical stuff for them and write as well. Since I'm in New Hampshire, I've been going to candidate events and writing about that, and then I've been writing about this abortion issue as well because it interests me. So my email address is max@ricochet.com. I am on Twitter at maxricochet, but
don't spend a lot of time there.
It's a little overwhelming. I don't.
That would be like
quite
me.
Understand.
It is. Social media is great. I use it to, and it works. I write a post, I put it on Facebook, all over Facebook. I use Twitter, and more people read it. It just happens. That's the way it works. So when I don't do that, fewer people read it. So I do it every time.
Right.
I've expanded to Google Plus. I rarely put anything on LinkedIn because it's a little bit more businessy, and I can be a little bit brusque with my language, and so I don't always consider it to be appropriate to put it on that platform.
Yeah, I don't use the other media, so occasionally I put something that I think is particularly interesting or funny on LinkedIn for my fairly broad network. But I got to make sure I don't offend the bosses who also read it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's okay. My CEO has introduced me more than once as the gun nut from New Hampshire, so I'm okay.
So, anyways, as far as Maggie Hassan and seeing the videos about Planned Parenthood, if you've got stuff that you would like to share with us, send it to us. We always welcome guest posts, and we'd love to be able to keep this story going from yet a different perspective than what we have here at Granite Grok.
That would be excellent.
Yeah. So, how much time we got left, Steve?
60 seconds.
Yeah, a little bit less.
Wrap up time.
For you, what is the top issue that you're looking for here in the presidential election?
Foreign policy has always been my main issue. I consider myself a classic neoconservative. I used to be liberal. Foreign policy was a big thing. I lived in New York City for 9 years. I went there as a Democrat. I came out as a neoconservative. You can't.
That's a strange transition.
Yeah, it's.
Well, not really if you've been mugged enough by the government.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Yeah, no,
good
it's
point.
lots of taxes, and then also when I moved there was still a smoking hole in the ground.
Right.
And that was just so I was moving towards the right because of that, and
De Blasio.
And then when De Blasio was elected, I like to call him Blasio, just
Blasio.
Blasio. 'Cause it's
All right,
blah,
well,
blah.
we're about to end
Is
this
that with
segment.
an H in it? Blasio.
Blasio. So then I got out.
All right, well, good for you, because I lived in Western New York, and I got out in 1990. I've been here for 26 years. So, this is GrokTALK. I'm Steve McDonald here with Mike Rogers, Skip Murphy, and Richard Olson, and, of course, our guest, Max Ledoux. Thanks to all our other guests for coming on the program today. Make sure you check us out at The Rock, nhcr.com. We'll be back next week. We'll see ya.
Grok TV.